video, we're now looking at the state of Arizona and whether it will become like Virginia, a Democrat's path to dominance. First, let's look at the state's current congressional delegation. They have 9 members, and they're going to gain one more, in fact, and it's probably going to go to the GOP because the Republicans control the state legislature as well as the governorship. But they have, so it's going to be 5 and 5. But right now, it's 5 Democrats and 4 Republicans. And if you look at the historical data, let's go to the recent. Yep, so maybe about here. So from the 1983, the Republicans controlled it for a while, but then until 2013 they did so too. They controlled only 3 of the 8 seats. But since then they controlled about 5 seats for a while until in between Martha McSally took the 1 seat for 2 terms, but then she went to the U.S. Senate and until she lost her special election and Ann Fitzpatrick won her seat. But the fact is, interestingly enough, if you look here, the Democrats hold all the Democratic seats, right? The Republicans hold all the Republican seats, except these two. In fact, if you see my other video about the National Republican Congressional Committee's 2022 House targets, you can see more of this, but these two are two of the targets because they are Democrats in a Republican district. But the fact is, Arizona has been moving to the center, and both these centers are Democratic, Kirsten Sinema and Mark Kelly. I mean, for a long time it was the GOP. I mean, this was until 1995. The last time they had 2 Democratic centers was in the 1950s. And that's why it's interesting. But if we go to the 2018 election, what am I saying? Let's go to the 2018 election. There. So, it took place on November 6, 2018 to elect a member of the U.S. Senate. It was between Kirsten Sinema and Martha McSally. And at that point, she was a congresswoman. If you look at the results, all these 2 counties, which tend to go Republican, actually, Sinema won because as a conservative Democrat, and she was preferable to Martha McSally, a Trumpian. And here she is on the launch of her bid, and Kelly Ward, she's the Republican chairwoman of Arizona, and so you can see that she is a conservative candidate. I mean, if you look at all the views, the only center more Democrat, more conservative than her is Joe Manchin. I mean, the other candidate was to the left of her and she lost, but so all of the liberal organizations like Bernie's people and stuff all endorsed her. But over here you can see a whole bunch of more Democratic moderates. Cory Booker, Catherine Cortez Masto, Tammy Duckworth, Gillibrand, Harris, Klobuchar, Leahy. I mean, this is interesting. Marie Clay endorsed, but most of the progressive didn't. That's why it's interesting. And then she won all the counties. I mean, some of them by huge margins, some of them by lesser margins. And then in the final election, she won. She got a whole lot more funds. Although she won quite not that many counties on the map. You can see at the top, she won the election. I mean, here if we go back here, we can see the results. She got 50% to 47.6. If you look at this here, you can also see the details. Democrats won 5, Republicans won 4 in the U.S. House, which is the current makeup of the U.S. House, and if we look here, so if we compare the maps, it's the exact same because, I mean, this area, which because of Phoenix and Tucson, it went Democratic. Then this area too, all of these areas. The only interesting one is here because it's quite conservative, because it's kind of an overlay of this area. But if we go to the full race results, we can see it's quite interesting. Democrats got quite a good thing overall going. I mean, especially in Maricopa and Pima, this is a big one they flipped, but that actually flipped the race. And then if we head over to 2020, Mark Kelly won over Martha McSally because when John Carroll, the the the, the governor appointed to fill John McCain's seat in 2018, decided to resign, then the governor appointed Martha McSally after she lost her Senate bid. They both started on the same term and they were inaugurated on the same day. Governor Doug Ducey, though, um, instructed them to inaugurate Kristen Sinema first because she because she was, what am I saying? Because she because the governor Doug Ducey said to appoint Kristen Sinema first because Kristen Sinema was the democratically elected senator, which is why he said she should be the senior senator. But in 2020, when she had to run for her seat against Mark Kelly, a former astronaut, popular Democrat, she obviously lost. I mean, the primaries, McSally didn't do that well overall. I mean, only 60%. Then for the Democrats, he got almost all the votes, no competition at all. Then Libertarian and Green and stuff. And then, I mean, look at the results. Not a single one of them favored the Republicans. And, I mean, there's on the in April was the last time McSally was in the lead, and then everything just changed. And by the time election day came around, Kelly was up by like 5%, almost 10%, I would say, probably more. Yep, it's a Democrats gained the seat, and if you look at the results, I mean, he won. He got 51% to 48. He did better than Sinema, probably because they're sick of McSally. I mean, she lost once. She still got the seat, and then she won again. And the results are similar. I mean, he got more in some of these places. He did better here, and he won the election. Now, the interesting part is in 2022, will it stay Democratic? Because Arizona is going to get another seat. It's going to get 12 electoral votes. But then what's going to happen is since the Arizona legislature is controlled by the Republicans and they have a Republican governor, what's going to happen is they're probably going to add the other seat for the Democrats. So the Democrats, it's either going to be 5-5 or 4 Democrats and 6 Republicans because they redraw the districts, so the Democrats have an even harder chance of winning. And then what they do is, but the thing is, on the Senate level in 2022, will the Democrats keep it? I mean, probably. Arizona's been trending Democratic. It's like the next Virginia. Virginia used to be conservative. It was last time it was a swing state. Was there in 2008? I mean, it's just not competitive, and that's why I think Arizona is going to be the next Virginia. And Democrats have an easy path to dominance. I mean, Kelly Ward, the Republican State Party chairwoman, she's an extremely polarizing figure, and I think Democrats have it easy in Arizona, at least for a while. If Governor Doug's people like Doug Ducey, Jeff Flake, Cindy McCain, they're the kind of people Arizona voters would elect as Republicans to the Fed government. But they're not running. We're having some of the most conservative Trumpians running, which is why they're losing. So if Arizona Republicans keep going the same way, Democrats are going to have it easy. It's simple as that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching.